What's going on? Just going over a little bit of market structure with you guys, how I use it to be profitable, what am I looking for, how do I trade it, all those good things. So let's jump into the charts. Good old market structure. Oh my God. So I wish I had someone just kind of clarify the ideas for me when I was newer. Some of these things. So market structures, we got a couple of things here. Higher highs, higher lows, equal highs, break of structures, swing failure patterns, and fair value gaps. There's more you can add to this. You can do false breakouts. You can do kill zones. Lots of smart money concept ideas, liquidity pools, supply and demand, and order blocks. So identifying all these things is part of trading, right? And you can look to take advantage of this, of structure. Structure is so important, especially with candles. Structure and candles go and volume go hand in hand. So either the market is going sideways, right? Range bound, as we would call it, or the market is trending, okay? Trending up, trending down, right? So it's either trending or it's ranging. Very simple, right? We go through our charts here, right? And we can see when market is trending, when market is ranging, right? So we can just get our beautiful box here. We can see a beautiful range here, right? And it does depend on the time frame you are. Right now we're on the 15-minute, right? And then you can see it trending, right? You can see upwards trend lines, right? Ranging, trending, ranging, trending, ranging, trending. And the market, in my opinion, mostly ranges, okay? Home on the range. So we want to be selling the highs, longing the lows. Very, very simple, right? So higher highs, higher lows, equal highs. So equal lows and equal highs suggests ranging, okay? Ranging. Now, a very good tool, which I have a video on, is a fixed range volume profile, which gives you the value area high and the value area low, which can be very advantageous when looking at a range, because it literally draws you the box of where prices value area high and value area low. It gives you a range, and you can see how when you get up to the top of the range, you tend to come back down to the middle of the range, or vice versa, right? So that's another tool that I would add to your trading tool belt, and add that to add some confluence. Then you can look at trends, okay? So let's go into like the 4-hour here. And it's very important to identify long-term and short-term trends, okay? So this is a Bitcoin price, right? So you can see that long-term, like if we're on the daily or if we're on the weekly, we know that we are in this big, huge parabolic uptrend, okay? So looking for this to continue to make higher highs and higher lows. So higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Oh, lower low, warning sign, okay? So this is how we're looking to identify warning signs and possible break of structures. I use this all the time. Let's go into how I would use higher highs and higher lows and equal lows and equal highs to identify change of structure. So I will be talking all the time on my live streams, which is at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday to Friday, about the worrisome of the market coming and taking out this low, right? So what am I talking about? We are in an uptrend, right? We are coming back down in a short-term downtrend. If we take out this low here, if we come down below this low here, right, that would be a break of structure. Breaking structure to the downside, implying that we probably are correcting here rather than just bouncing on another higher low, okay? So something to keep in mind, and you can see this throughout price action all the time. Where can we see it? Okay, so we're looking for it right here. So zooming in, you can see that we clearly were making lower lows, right? We want to be accurate, right? To the wicks, all the way down, right? So you can see we are continuing to make beautiful lower lows and lower highs coming down, right? In a downtrend. If I draw this down here, we are trending downwards, right? However, what happens here? Let's get rid of this. What happens here? So we come down, as you can see, and we start to bottom, right? So you can see this was a Wyckoff accumulation kind of springboard here that we noticed. And we did manage to get long from here the other day in our free Discord. If you want to check that out, that's down below. But you can see here, initially you made a higher high or a higher low here. Okay, so you failed to really continue to push down here. You did not take out this low here. You made a higher low here and a higher low here, right? However, you haven't really changed and made a break of structure to the upside, right? You want to see the highs take out the lows. So what you're looking for is a break of structure. Now, I call a break of structure in both ways. There's change of character, break of structure. I keep it very simple in the sense that this high has been taken out by this price action. We have now broken structure, BOS, right, to the upside. You can see, I know Brewberry does an amazing job of doing this, right? So I can go in here, I can put break of structure. We have broken structure to the upside. Therefore, changing trend, okay? We were looking for the breakout of this downwards trend here. So we had a trend line coming down like this. We broke structure. We took the long all the way to the upside of this downtrend here. So if I draw the line down here, look at that. That was our target. So we took this trade in our Discord looking for the continuation, the breakout of the structure coming up to the upside, making us all a lot of money. Congratulations. I know you guys crushed that trade, but this is a very simple idea of a break of structure, right? So when I'm talking on the live streams, as long as we hold these lows, right? I say that quite often. As long as we hold this low, right, we can look for that continuation long term, okay? Long term, right? So there's short-term trends, there's long-term trends, and then there's extremely macro long-term trends that we are, in on, let's say, the 4-hour or the daily, right? So if we're looking at this big wedge that we have had on Bitcoin, right, for so long. You can see here, okay, so we draw the top out here, right? We have broken out of this. We have created a higher high, right? A higher high. So if we go to this high here and we go, and if we go to this high here, we have created a new higher high, right? So you want to be identifying the trend. So you can see, wrong tool, 1 second. You want to see the structure changing, right? So you can see lower high, lower low, lower high, higher high, break of structure to the upside, taking out this previous high here, initial idea, continuation, right? So you see within here, there's many opportunities. As soon as we take out this high from this high, we can look for the reversal, for the retracement and continuation. If this high here failed to get above this high here, we would be looking for this lower low to come in down here, okay? This is just understanding it in a general point here. So now that we are uptrending, breaking structure to the upside, continuation from here. So if we go over to here, we can see that we came straight across, we broke that structure, and yet again, we broke it and continued to push onwards, upwards, where we're looking for retracements back down, okay? And this applies throughout all of trading and all time frames, and that's very important to note. So that's why we always do a top-down analysis, right? We'll go into our daily. We can see that we are on this very, very aggressive higher high and higher low kind of structure here on a macro side, right? And we are looking for that continuation to the upside, okay? So that's what I use higher highs and higher lows for. If we are looking at an example of equal highs and equal lows, let's look at this range right here. So you can see here, you got equal highs and equal lows until you break out. So this is that dreaded long waiting 25,000 range that we had on Bitcoin, right? So you can see pushing up, creating your initial low, which actually sometimes, quite often, we retest previous highs, okay? You can see in here, these are the previous highs before we drop down and pushed into this new zone. So I always talk about retesting previous highs as well. So we push into here, right? We set a high, right? And we get a multiple retest back at the low. So you can see this is range bound, right? Until we finally break that range with a lot of volume, creating a new range to the upside. Okay, so this is something to always keep in mind, is that the best example for this would be, I believe, Link. If we go over to Link is a ranger, okay? Ranger, like Ford Ranger. So you can see here, Link during the whole bear market, if you just bought or if you just sold at $8, right, all the way through here, and you bought around $6, you would be making tons and tons and tons of money throughout the bear market. Link loves range boundness, okay? Until it breaks, that's the one trade where you get wrong on the short. All of the rest, we're right. So very profitable trading on Link for range bound. So certain tokens do this quite often. You can see yet again, Link, range bound. Link, range bound, right? So very often than not, some of these do range a lot more than others, right? Going back over to Bitcoin, you can see that we are in a typical range right now. So you can see we do have highs and lows. And like I said, the fixed range volume profile tool will give you that range where anytime you deviate outside of this range, so if you come below the value area low or the value area high, you can be looking for shorts back in and longs back up, okay? And that's range-bound trading, right? And we typically range more than we do trend, okay? When we trend, it's typically very parabolic and to the upside, okay? So that's covering basic higher highs and higher lows. Remember, it applies to all time frames. If I was going to give you an example of where we are right now, we are continuing to make higher lows on the way up here, right? If we were to swing down below, break this low and retest, I would look for continuation down, but I would also look for this trend to continue up, okay? Because we have broken structure over here from this downtrend here, right? Does that make sense? I think that makes sense, okay? So mini trends within larger trends, understanding what's the big trend. The trend is your friend into the end. The medium trend, which is kind of like, okay, we are now pushing onwards and upwards here on our 4 hour. We're looking for that continuation unless we break structure to the downside. And we are looking for the short term right now for a little bit of a push back, okay? The break of structure that I'm looking for within this right now is I'm looking for this to have bottomed, right? Because we are coming higher like this. I am looking for this higher low to hold and for this high to get above this high here to suggest continuation, okay? So this high needs to come in, hopefully above here in the next, 2 to 3 days. We'll see what happens before consolidation. It's Bitcoin. Anything is possible. So very, very important. Now, what other structure things do I like to look for? Swing failure patterns and fair value gaps. Okay, so these ones are important. Okay, it takes a little bit more practice to learn these ones. Okay, so when I zoom in here on the 12 hour, right? So I was when we were down here and we were ranging, I was looking for a fair value gap, which is just where price has moved quickly and has created a gap between wicks. So you can see right here and here, I was looking for this to come back and being filled when we were down here, right? So you can see you have a gap between the wick here and the wick here, right? So this gap within here typically gets filled, okay? And you can see them throughout your charts if you want to draw them out that come back and get filled. There's one here, right? And it obviously it differs on different time frames, okay? So you can see this one back here, right? This one's really good between these two, right? And you extend that out, perfect fill, right? You can see another one right here between this one and this one, right? Hasn't been filled yet. That's a target, right? So you draw these out. You can see one here, right? Between this wick and this wick. And we can draw this out here, right? So, and you typically look for the ones that haven't been filled to get filled. So you could be looking for something like this, swing failure pattern and continuation onwards and upwards. You can also use this throughout the shorter term time frames, which I like to do myself to kind of identify where we're at right now. So where have we created gaps? Always look for quick moves down. I think that's always like a keynote for me. Let's go into 30-minute. Okay, right? So you can see throughout here, we can mark out some fair value gaps. So there was one in here, right, that we came back and filled, as you can see from here to here, right? You drag that across, right? And then you can see we came back and filled this. Not completely, but we have filled that, right? You can look up here, nothing down here. There's a little one, right? So it doesn't matter what size they typically get back and filled. So this would have been a perfect re-entry on the short. So you can see here where price comes down, back to re-entry, fills the fair value gap, and continues down, okay? Very beautiful trade setups by using fair value gaps. So you can add them throughout your chart. They are useful. They are a profitable way to look at where price will return to. You can see one down between here, right? So you can see between here, I would be looking here. And you can target these as areas of interest, right? You want to always have an area of interest. You don't want to just trade them blindly, okay? Swing failure patterns. Typically, this is with volume, okay? So this to me is an SFP, right? You can see how fast it gets bought up, right? This is like a scalper's dream, in my opinion. So you can see SFP, SFP, and this is literally, in my opinion, these are just quick liquidity grabs. You can see SFP of the top here, grabbing liquidity, right? An SFP of a continuation, right? So an SFP is just very much when price comes down, sweeps liquidity and bounces straight up. Now, these always seem to work out for me with bottoming signals. So you can see within here, very nice bottoming signal coming back, sweeping liquidity before you can see quick move up, return back down, sweep of the liquidity, which is an order block, which is within here. You can see that order block and it comes in here, grabs that order block, and then continues to push onwards and upwards. Now, I do have a full video on order blocks. If you need to learn about order blocks, I do have that video that just came out this week as well, where those gives you like an indicator that populates it and all that stuff as well. So this is just basic market structure that I use. Also, if you want to learn anything more about market structure, join us in the Discord. I know Brewberry is very well educated on this and will be glad to answer your questions. He has his own trading part in the Discord, and I'm sure he would help you try to make sense of all of this. I'm just going over a general idea of how I use it and how I use it to identify patterns and how I use it to take advantage. So how would I set up my charts now? What would I use it for? And what am I looking for? So for me, you can see we have liquidity zones, right? We have a move onwards and upwards. So I had 2 trade setups this morning, okay, that I am looking at. So those trade setups are as follows. Let me go over. This is the right chart. So I am looking for this golden pocket, okay, down below here. I go from swing low to swing high, right? I'm looking for this golden pocket, which happens to be a little order block down below here. I am also looking for the continuation of this bounce, and we were looking for this morning, and it would have been perfect, but we didn't hit it exactly. So a bounce from the 618 within here as well. Look at the liquidity grab within this area as well. Okay, so we were looking for these. We were always hunting for them, and we're always looking for the continuation, the swing failure patterns, right? That juicy entry at lows that allow us to, really take profit early and put our stop loss at entry, right? It's very much helping us as traders become, safeguarded against, the market structure coming back and wrecking us, right? So you can see here, you got an order block, you got liquidity, you have a whole bunch of areas down here that you did sweep, right? So you can mark out this along the way, looking for price to come back up, grab this liquidity above us, okay? We can also draw out this downwards trend line here and look for the retest. That was the trade this morning that we were looking for, and the bounce off of there. So many ways to add structure. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Join us. We'll be glad to answer any of your questions. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your week. God bless you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.